It was quite interesting because we were talking in the session about how you go around the holidays and that challenge. And I think for certainly the festive season or Christmas season, however you celebrate this time of year, it's often associated with an abundance of things, abundance of presents or items, and abundance of food. But the thing we're not very abundant on is time. And a lot of people have, or they're working between the Christmas New Year. I certainly, for my case, that's it. Um, but a lot of people don't have that. I won't say not the willpower, but they'll say it's Christmas. I'm just going to take a break, which is absolutely fine. There's no problem with that. The problem often comes on the other side of it, where there's a lot of people today mentioning, "Oh, I'm not sure what I'm going to do in January." And I think maybe that's the problem, if that makes sense. It's like kind of going into something without a plan. You just say, "Ah, don't worry about it. That'll be a tomorrow problem," which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. You got to live. You know, we're not on this planet that long. But I do think it's nice to be conscious of stuff. We don't have to be maybe I mean, some people like to micromanage and look at their macros and everything. That's if that works for you, that's great. But a lot of people struggle with stuff like that, especially over Christmas and this festive period from maybe even like the end of November-ish. It's pretty much from Halloween when all the candy and everything comes from there right through until you're getting to um, probably early January, and then you're thinking, "Wow, I've got all this stuff left over," because all of that for the most of December is all about, uh, enriched things. I think that's where it's the sumptuousness, the coziness. Certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, it's very cold, um, so it's colder, there's dark days, you wanna stay in and have a hot chocolate, something to eat, snacks. It's easy to have those sort of things, which is, it's comforting. There's nothing wrong with that. It's maybe that you try and find something that you can refocus what gives you comfort. So some people find comfort in going to the gym, for example. Um, uh, I'm not one of them. It's, you go because you need to go, and it's something that you do. I don't despise it, but it's not like, oh, I can't wait to go to the gym today. But I will notice if I haven't gone for a long walk and done something physical during the day, that will play on me. So that's where you sort of work out what are the things that I can do that means I'm not saying I'm not failing every day, but you don't chalk up a day and go, I'm just going to write that day off. Because I think that's the wrong approach, just saying, oh, just forget about it. It's fine to, occasionally we can't control everything, but isn't it nice if you can sit back and say, hey, I know in Christmas on these few days I'm doing that, but all the other days where I'm not doing that, maybe I'm working and stuff, I'll go back to my normal routine and I'll eat a clean diet and so forth. And then it's almost like I'm just having two or three extra, I want to say cheat days, call them what you will, or and something like that. And then that's manageable. And it means also then that you don't have to flog yourself in January or go on some starvation diet or do something super drastic. You just overcorrect and you correct back again. It's that sort of thing. We don't want to overcorrect. Sorry, should I say? You don't want to be the going right. I'm going to purge myself and really put my body under a strain for the sake of we take maybe had an extra 500 calories in a day for 2 or 3 days. Maybe we have to put a bit of perspective on it. So I guess my message really is go out, enjoy the holidays, have a lovely time, celebrate whatever you're celebrating, whoever you celebrate with, and have a wonderful time. Um, and just make conscious choices like, yeah, I will have that thing, but I know maybe I'll have to run an extra 5-10 minutes on the treadmill and do some extra weights, maybe increase my set by 10%, just do a little bit extra to try and offset it, which means that when it comes down to the beginning of the year, I'm not like, oh, I'm a long way off. And trying to sort of keep to our daily routines where we can. And then these extra things are just extra things. So it's nice to have, 1-2 days off if you're talking like you go out to celebrate New Year's Eve, for example. But it was very interesting when people coming up with these things and they're already thinking in their mind, oh, the next 2 weeks, or it's going to be tricky. And you go, What's tricky? Because in 2 weeks, if we're saying 14 days, and let's say you have 3 meals a day, just as an example, it's not actually that many. It's less than 45 meals. So that's 45 times you can make different choices. And if you're saying, oh, I'm going to have, you're not having 45 crazy meals, you're having maybe 10 at best. So the majority of it is still just your daily stuff like you normally would. And I think that's the bit that we, and it's a human thing. It's not just, we almost say we're blind to it. We'll see something is greater than it normally is. And because that's greater than an average, oh, well, that's the new norm. And it's not, obviously it's not. Um, but yeah, a lot of people were quite, sounded like they were almost worried, like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do in January. And you think the same thing you're doing now, like the same thing you did in November or September, October. Like you be consistent where you can. And if you have a day that's a blip, it's a day that's a blip. And that can be not just diet, we're just talking about diet there, but it can be doing your physical exercise. It can be doing the things that you're trying to achieve or career, job, all those sort of things. Even if you're making just a little step every day, that little step can just be consistent. Just being, I'm being mindful and I know I'm having a real meal later. So I'm just going to eat healthily during the day and then it offsets it like you would on any other thing. Just happens to be a festive meal or a day out or a celebration or something, but it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be, oh no, they've got another one then and another one then. Well, if you have three on the trot, you have three on the trot, but you're not having three of those meals every single day for all of it. So, you can work with yourself. Um, and I think we're not giving ourselves a chance. I think that's what it is. We sort of set ourselves up to fail by not acknowledging it in the right way. We acknowledge, oh, yeah, we're going to pay for this, but we don't really acknowledge it in the right way, as in, well, we're taking accountability, we're going to have something, but we're clear at what we're having and we're going to have X amount extra, which means we might have to do this amount extra over 2 weeks. We'll burn that back. You don't have to lose all 1,000 calories that you've consumed extra in one day. You don't have to burn that off in one day. That's ludicrous. Like, do it over a week, and then that's an extra 200 a day that you're just burning off. Just makes sense to me, But yeah, it just seems funny that a lot of people were quite worried about that, and guess that's what Club's most for, to just come and talk about it and belay your fears, or shall I say? But have a great day.